They say love feels safest at night when you fall asleep beside the one you trust the most. But what happens when the person lying next to you never sleeps? My name is Amaka, and for 5 nights straight, my husband Okoro stayed awake, watching me sleep. At first, I thought it was love, until I realized he wasn't watching me. He was watching her, the thing that only came when I closed my eyes. The first night my husband stayed up while I slept, I thought he was just working late. The second night, when I woke up at 2 a.m. and saw him staring at me in the dark, I forced a smile and asked, "Babe, why aren't you sleeping?" He only whispered, "Go back to sleep. I can't sleep. Not while you are asleep." I laughed it off, thinking it was a weird joke, but then it became a pattern. Every night, the moment I laid down, he would sit at the edge of the bed, eyes wide open, not blinking. He never touched his phone. He never moved. He just watched me. I started feeling uncomfortable, like someone else was in the room with us. When I asked why, he'd always say the same thing. "I feel safer when you're asleep. That's when she doesn't come." She? I asked one night, my heart pounding. He didn't answer. He just placed a finger over his lips and whispered, "Shh, she listens." My body froze. I couldn't sleep after that. Every creak in the house made my heart race. But the scariest part was what happened on the 5th night. I pretended to fall asleep early, but I kept my eyes half open. And then at exactly 2:17 a.m., he slowly stood up and whispered to the corner of the room, "She's here." The wardrobe door creaked open all by itself. My heart almost stopped. He smiled into the darkness, like he was seeing someone I couldn't see. Then he whispered again, "Don't wake her up, she doesn't like that." My blood went cold. Something was standing in that corner. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it breathing. And that's when I realized this wasn't just sleeplessness. This was something else, something dark. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. But then he slowly turned to me, his face pale, his eyes black like night, and said, "Don't open your eyes, love. She's right beside you." I felt a cold hand brush against my cheek. I froze. My entire body was shaking under the blanket, but I didn't dare move. The cold touch on my cheek was real. It wasn't a dream. My husband was still standing at the corner, whispering to something I couldn't see. "She likes you," he said in a strange, soft voice. "But if you scream, she'll stay forever." My heart was pounding so loud, I thought it would give me away. And then I heard it. A faint giggle, a woman's giggle. I wanted to believe it was my mind playing tricks on me until the bed began to sink like someone else had just sat down beside me. "Don't look," my husband said, his eyes empty. "She gets angry when people look." Tears rolled down my face as I tried to stay still. The air in the room became heavier, colder. I could smell something foul like rotting water. Then, slowly, a voice whispered right into my ear. He invited me. "Because you sleep so well." I screamed. I couldn't hold it anymore. And the moment I screamed, the light bulb above us exploded. The room went black. Something grabbed my leg. Sharp nails dug into my skin, pulling me down the bed. I kicked and thrashed, but the grip was too strong. My husband just stood there, smiling into the darkness. "Is greater than. She just wants to play," he whispered. I clawed for the bedside lamp, turned it on, and for 1 second, just 1 second, I saw her. A woman with long wet hair, hollow eyes, and a mouth that stretched too wide to be human. She was crawling out of the wardrobe. I screamed louder, and in that instant, she disappeared. The room went silent again. My husband fell to his knees, breathing heavily like he'd just woken from a nightmare. "Babe, what happened?" he asked, confused, his eyes back to normal. I couldn't answer. I just stared at him. The scratches on my leg were still there. The broken bulb was still on the floor. But she was gone. I packed my things that morning and left the house without looking back. Later, I learned something I wish I never knew. That house used to belong to a woman who died in her sleep alone. And every person who lived there after claimed to see her at night. My husband didn't need sleep. She wouldn't let him. And if I had stayed one more night, I might not have woken up. I left that house and never looked back. But sometimes, when I close my eyes, I still feel her cold hand on my cheek. Maybe she followed me. Maybe she's still watching. My husband didn't need sleep because she wouldn't let him. If you think this was over, it's not. Part 2 will show you what really happened after I left. If this story gave you chills, then you haven't seen anything yet. More true horror stories are coming. So before you sleep, subscribe now